Welcome to the Legally Speaking podcast, Path to Pupillage at the Criminal Bar miniseries, brought to you in collaboration with Red Lion Chambers. I'm your host, Rob Hanna, and I'm excited to guide you through this exclusive series focused on pupillage and entry to the bar. Over the next 8 minisodes, we'll feature insightful conversations with 8 distinguished members of the legal community. As we approach the 2025 pupillage round, we'll delve into all the essential advice for prospective pupils, from preparing for interviews to handling rejections and uncovering top qualities necessary for success in chambers. This series is designed to provide you invaluable guidance and first-hand experiences to help you navigate your journey to the criminal bar. So tune in, take notes, and join us on this path to pupillage. Let's get started. To begin with, Alistair, could you kindly please introduce yourself?
Sure, my name is Alistair Fell. I'm a barrister at Red Lion Chambers.
And it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today. And we've been really enjoying the mini-series we've had thus far with Path to Pupillage. Alistair, let's get straight into it. What is the most important piece of advice you can give a prospective pupil when it comes to preparing for an interview?
I would say one of the most important things to do is to make sure that you've researched your chambers thoroughly. It's important to demonstrate a good knowledge of the chambers should you get an interview. So I would say research sort of work that Chambers does, read into the personnel, who are they, what sort of work are they doing, acquaint yourself also with the ethos of the chambers, what's the culture around it, and think carefully about how you would fit into that culture or ethos. Because as I say, at the interview, one of the questions, I wouldn't say it's a standard question, but a very common one, is why have you chosen to apply to us? What is it about our chambers that interests you? So you need to be in a position to give detailed responses to that. So that would be my main piece of advice, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And, research is so important. And the more, and I say nowadays, with the online world that we live, there's so much accessible information out there that there's no real need not to cut the corners, because you can really equip yourself with lots of useful information that you can then help sell and demonstrate in those interviews. Let's take a step back, though, for a moment. Let's say, people haven't been successful in getting to interviews. What would be your advice for those who have received a rejection or maybe multiple rejections? What would you say to those?
I think the first thing I would say is don't despair. Rejection is actually quite normal. I think because of the competitive nature of our work, it's inevitable that there are going to be a lot of people applying for pupillage. So don't take it personally, I would say. Be prepared for it as well. And the most important thing, I think, is to get back up again and to keep going. From my own personal experience, I can say that, I didn't get pupillage at the first time of asking. I received several rejections. And for a while, you are very low, feeling sorry for yourself. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You go through that process and then you get up again, you start again, and you keep applying. And I think history tends to show that if you're determined enough, despite the knockbacks, you will eventually come through it if it's what you really want. That would be my main advice.
Yeah, if you never give up, you're never going to lose. You're just going to continue to learn along the process. And I think, like you referenced there, you will have some low points, but see the positive in that. It clearly means that you care. You're passionate enough that you want this to then give yourself the chance to dust yourself off to go again. So thank you for being very refreshingly honest about your journey and your stages of rejection, because like you say, just treat it as part of the process, learn from it and keep going. Okay, let's look at a more positive lens. You've got in, you've done all the hard work, you've applied, you've gone through the interview, you're in the door. What are the top 3 qualities you believe are essential for a pupil to then succeed upon joining a chambers?
I think demonstrating a real enthusiasm for the chambers that you're in is key, and you can demonstrate that through your work ethic. I think it's important that you offer yourself for work. There's always barristers within chambers, very busy people, always looking for a helping hand, so offer your services there. Making sure that you get known by as many people within chambers as well, because ultimately these are the people that will have a voice and a say as to whether or not you're ultimately taken on. So it's important that you get yourself known in and around chambers. But I think as a corollary to that, I'd also say don't be too obtrusive. Don't try too hard, because there's a balance to be struck, I think, between showing enthusiasm but also potentially getting in people's way. That's something, I guess, with time you'll just realize how to work through. But I think it's something to guard against, because you will obviously be very keen to prove yourself, to show yourself. But I think sometimes less is more. Just quietly going about your business, doing the work well, that in itself should give you, enough positives when decision time comes, and the decision is made about whether or not you're going to be recruited. So I think those are the key things I'd emphasize more than anything.
Yeah, and I love that you talk about balance there and striking the right balance, because it's true, isn't it? You want to really kind of adapt to the environment that you're in. So again, appreciate you kind of going through that with us. Alistair, really enjoyed kind of picking out your wisdom. It's been very succinct, it's been very to the point, and it's exactly what we're looking for in this series. If people have been inspired, would like to learn more about your own career journey, or indeed Redline Chambers, where can they find out more? Feel free to shout out any websites or any social media handles. We'll also make sure we share them with this minisode for you too.
Yeah, of course, we have our Chambers website, which is the main gateway to all of the profiles, members of Chambers, and it will tell you all about the ethos of Chambers as well, what we're committed to, and how we go about our business. And we've got a very strong LinkedIn presence as well. There's regular stuff coming out of Chambers about the work that we're doing. So, as you pointed out before, very easy to access this information without too much work. Just Google Redline and a whole lot of information will be coming back at you.
There we go, folks. So, Alistair, thank you ever so much once again. It's been a real pleasure hosting you today. Wishing you lots of continued success with your own career. But from all of us on the Legally Speaking podcast, over and out. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you like the content here, why not check out our world-leading content and collaboration hub, the Legally Speaking Club, over on Discord. Go to our website, www.legallyspeakingpodcast.com, for the link to join our community there. Over and out.